Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 235 of Bill Man the Sports Guys podcast. I'm your host, Bill Man the Sports Guy. For the latest weekly news, the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, college sports, WNBA, this is the podcast to be. This episode is easy and simple. I'm going to go over some MLB free agents and where I believe they will sign. Now, there's so many names, so I did this to the best of my abilities and I went by position. So if there was a name I missed, please let me know in the comments, and even on Twitter at Billman Sports, Instagram at Billman Sports Guy, and here on YouTube at Billman Sports Guy. Nonetheless, let's get things started. I have Janice Cabrera going to the Pittsburgh Pirates. I also have Chad Green going to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Lucas Sims to the Colorado Rockies. Rafael Montero, Houston Astros. Michael Mercado, New York Yankees. Scott Magoo going to the New York Mets. Nick Sandeline, St. Louis Cardinals. Jordan Romano, Philadelphia Phillies. Erasmo Ramirez, Detroit Tigers. Colin Poche, Cleveland Guardians. Chris Stefanski, Atlanta Braves. Scott Alexander, Texas Rangers. I think it low-key looked really good in that uniform. Jonathan Loaiza, Milwaukee Brewers. Chris Stratton, San Diego Padres. Alvin Rodriguez, Los Angeles Dodgers. Luke Jackson, Los Angeles Dodgers. Colin Herdman, Los Angeles Angels. Miguel Castro, Houston Astros. Cam Boozer goes back to the Boston Red Sox. John King to the Tampa Bay Rays. Kendall Graveman signs with the Seattle Mariners. Excuse me. Jorge Alsla, Washington Nationals. Daniel Robert, Miami Marlins. Oh, camera move. Whoops. All right. Where was I at? Hector Neris, Miami Marlins, I guess. Scott Efros, Chicago Cubs. John Briba, St. Louis Cardinals, I guess. Lou Trevino, Minnesota Twins. Ryan Sternick feels like a Chicago Cub to me. Connor Siebold, Texas Rangers. Gregory Santos, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Sean Reynolds, Seattle Mariners. Eli Morgan, Texas Rangers. Jack Little, Minnesota Twins. Liam Hendriks goes back to one of the teams that he previously played for in the Kansas City Royals. Drew Smith, Milwaukee Brewers. I don't see Craig Kimbrell signing with a team for 2026, but if he does, the only team I could see him sign is the Atlanta Braves. Drew Smith, Milwaukee Brewers. Nick Enright, Cleveland Guardians. Scott Barlow stays with the Cincinnati Reds. Trent Thorne to the Atlanta Braves. Brent Suter goes to the Chicago White Sox. Hunter Strickland, Oakland Athletics. Taylor Rogers, New York Mets. TJ McFarland, San Francisco Giants. Jason Foley, Arizona Diamondbacks. Danny Young, Texas Rangers. Paul Sewald, Cincinnati Reds. Michael Kopech, Los Angeles Dodgers. Had a hard time predicting what team I think he'd sign with. Ryan Presley, Colorado Rockies, I guess. Shelby Miller, Chicago Cubs. Jorge Lopez, Pittsburgh Pirates. Joe Ross, Pittsburgh Pirates as well. Drew Pomeranz, Toronto Blue Jays. Pierce Johnson, Tampa Bay Rays. Ian Hamilton, Baltimore Orioles. Sir Anthony Dominguez, Boston Red Sox. Tyler Alexander goes to the Philadelphia Phillies. Andrew Chafin, is this the year we finally see him in a Chicago White Sox uniform? Tyler Kinley, Kansas City Royals. Justin Wilson, Detroit Tigers. Brad Keller stays with the Cubs. He low-key did pretty good there. Caleb Ferguson, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Gregory Soto, Kansas City Royals. Stephen Mass, Detroit Tigers. Cale Theobar, Texas Rangers. Luke Weaver, Toronto Blue Jays. Kyle Finnegan, New York Yankees, I guess. Hunter Harvey, Tampa Bay Rays. Jacob Junis, San Diego Padres. Emilio Pagan also goes to the San Diego Padres. Sean Newcomb, San Francisco Giants. David Robertson, Philadelphia Phillies. Mark Lethier Jr., New York Yankees. Kirby Yates, Cincinnati Reds. Taylor Rogers, Chicago Cubs. Kenley Jansen goes back to the Los Angeles Dodgers where it all began. Devin Williams, Washington Nationals. Robert Suarez, Chicago Cubs, low key. Edwin Diaz, Los Angeles Dodgers. They really need a closer. Anthony DeSclafani, Miami Dolphins. Walker Buehler takes a stint with the Chicago Cubs. Tatsui Lemoy, I hope I said it right. I apologize if I said it wrong, but could see him sign with the Chicago Cubs from the Northern Korean Baseball League. I could also see Kona Takahashi sign with the Chicago White Sox. Jose Urania back to the Toronto Blue Jays. Alek Manoah to the Texas Rangers. John Means, Colorado Rockies. Dustin May, Chicago White Sox. I could low-key see them signing him. Jordan Montgomery, St. Louis Cardinals. Paul Blackburn, Arizona Diamondbacks. Cal Quantrill, San Francisco Giants. Max Scherzer, Toronto Blue Jays. Marcus Stroman, San Diego Padres. Griffin Canning, Milwaukee Brewers. Chris Flexen, Chicago Cubs. Martin Perez stays with the White Sox. Frankie Montas, St. Louis Cardinals. Chris Paddock, New York Mets. Aaron Savali also goes to the Mets. Jose Quintana, Los Angeles Dodgers. If you can't beat him, join him. Michael Lorenzen, Chicago White Sox. Andrew Heaney, Pittsburgh Pirates. Lucas Giolito, Los Angeles Dodgers. Taylor Mayo, San Diego Padres. Adrian Hauser goes back to the Chicago White Sox. Nestor Cortez, Pittsburgh Pirates. Mike Mikolas, Atlanta Braves. Zach Eflin goes to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Justin Verlander goes back and retires as a member of the Detroit Tigers. Eric Fetty, Atlanta Braves. Patrick Corbin, Texas Rangers. Zach Little, Washington Nationals. Zach Gallen also goes to the Washington Nationals. Muriel Kelly, Miami Marlins. Michael King, New York Mets. Chris Bassett, Philadelphia Phillies. Nick Martinez goes to the Colorado Rockies. Ranger Suarez goes to the New York Yankees. Framber Valdez goes to the San Francisco Giants. Eloy Jimenez, you, sir, are a Los Angeles Angel in my eyes. Andrew McCutchen stays with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Marcell Ozuna goes back to the Miami Marlins. Kyle Schwarber will be the new designated hitter for the Boston Red Sox. Adolis Garcia, for some reason, I could picture him in a Chicago White Sox uniform. Austin Slater, New York Yankees. Lane Thomas, Kansas City Royals. I don't know why, but Starling Marte, Chicago Cubs, for some reason. Randall Grichuk, Los Angeles Angels. Max Kepler, Minnesota Twins. I am once again asking the Chicago White Sox to bring back Mike Tauchman. Mike Yastrzemski, Boston Red Sox. Kyle Tucker leaves Chicago and goes to the Toronto Blue Jays. Garrett Hampson, New York Yankees. JJ Bleday, Baltimore Orioles. Cedric Mullins, Cleveland Guardians. They really need some bats out there in Cleveland, Ohio. Harrison Bader, Seattle Mariners. Cody Bellinger will be the new outfielder and first baseman for the Chicago White Sox. Alex Verdugo, Milwaukee Brewers. Christopher Morel, Tampa Bay Rays. Chris Taylor goes to the Texas Rangers. Miguel Andujar goes to the Washington Nationals. Austin Hayes goes to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Jesse Winker also goes to the Washington Nationals. Mark Canha goes to the Milwaukee Brewers. Tommy Pham, St. Louis Cardinals. MJ Melendez, Houston Astros. Alex Bregman stays with the Boston Red Sox. Eugenio Suarez, Los Angeles Angels. Paul DeJong, Cleveland Guardians. Yoan Moncada, New York Mets. Kike Hernandez stays with the Dodgers. Andy Ibanez goes to the Angels. Luis Arias to the Colorado Rockies. Tim Anderson will get another chance and sign with the Cleveland Guardians. Miguel Rojas stays with the Dodgers. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Arizona Diamondbacks. Ha-Seong Kim, New York Yankees. Bo Bichette, Toronto Blue Jays. Adam Frazier, Texas Rangers. Theo Estrada, Cleveland Guardians. Brendan Rodgers, San Francisco Giants. Nicky Lopez goes to the Colorado Rockies. Ahmed Rosario stays in Tampa Bay with the Rays. Luis Rengifo to the Chicago Cubs. Him and Nico Hoerner, a good 1-2 punch at second base. Roman Urias, Miami Marlins. Dylan Moore, Pittsburgh Pirates. Jose Iglesias, New York Mets. Jorge Polanco, Seattle Mariners. Willie Castro, Houston Astros. Kamuza Akamano will sign with the Cincinnati Reds. Wilmer Flores, Oakland Athletics. They're Sacramento Athletics now. Justin Turner goes back to the Baltimore Orioles where it all began. Dominic Smith, Detroit Tigers. Paul Goldschmidt stays with the Yankees. Luis Arias, watch the Angels pay crazy money to sign him. Nathaniel Lowe, Pittsburgh Pirates. Carlos Santana, hear me out. I think he'll sign with the Chicago White Sox and then get traded to the Detroit Tigers. Ryan O'Hearn, Washington Nationals. Pete Alonso will stay with the New York Mets. JT Realmuto, Philadelphia Phillies. Victor Caratini, Tampa Bay Rays. Danny Jansen, Milwaukee Brewers. Christian Vasquez, Milwaukee Brewers. Reese McGuire goes back to the Cubs. Gary Sanchez, Colorado Rockies. And Austin Barnes will sign with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Whoo! That's a lot of names. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to episode number 235 of Bill Man the Sport Guys podcast. I'm your host, Bill Man the Sports Guy. Have a good evening, everyone. Stay tuned for episode number 236. Peace.